Athletic does this every year. I have to say I am sort of dreading some of these answers because I just have to imagine. I have to imagine some of them probably include a trade that happened earlier in the season. Just unfortunately feel that way. We're going to spend $9 on a Starbucks coffee instead of $1 on the Athletic. Hey, buddy. Hey, I make my own coffee. Thank you very much. I haven't spent money at Starbucks in months. All right. Respect the boycott, bro. Seriously. They did a special article on the trade. Oh, really? Okay. So here we go. Anonymous. How many players got asked? 158 players, over 1/3 of the league. Wow. Players from all 30 teams represented from early March through mid-April. We asked their opinions. So here we go. Oh, they asked about gambling. All right. Let's see. Who is the MVP? Wow. Okay. Shea wins 56%. I was going to say it's a little surprising, but I guess not if you're pulling players. So who the fuck voted Donovan Mitchell? So I have to ask if who the fuck voted LeBron James? Cade also received a vote. Steph received a vote. Let's just do some math here. What's 1.9% of 155? Is that like 2 votes, maybe? 3 votes, I think. So 3 people voted for Donovan Mitchell to win MVP. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Jared Allen. Congratulations to those guys. Some players could be trolling. So Shea wins this. I haven't checked the MVP tracker thing in a while. It does seem like Shea is going to win MVP. SGA voters, you've got to go with Shea. It's the number 1 team in the West, and the way he's been doing it has been impressive. He's taken these young guys to another level. Consistency. He also stands out on a team, which is so great. That's why he would be the MVP for me this year. I love Jokic, but I feel like Shea deserves it. I thought Shea deserved it last year. Both of them deserve it. I think the benefit of the doubt has to go to Shea. It's got to. I'll give it to Shea just because last year and in the past few years, it has been Jokic, but they're both playing at an incredible level right now, just passing it along to the next generation. Shea's the next generation. Let's see what Jokic voters have to say. It's the same thing that's been the case for the last 3 MVPs that Jokic has won. I think he impacts his team to where he fundamentally changes the way they play and impacts the game the way he does. Without another all-star, I think it's incredible. The on-off speak for themselves. The Nuggets net rating, 19.8 points per 100 possessions, better high with Jokic on the floor versus 11.5 points higher for the Thunder. He's had better numbers in the last 3 times he's won MVP, and if you take him off the floor, his team is not nearly the same. He just impacts the game at every level, passing, rebounding. People say he's bad on defense. He's not bad on defense when he tries. Do we really believe NBA players talk like this? Well, I'd have to imagine it's probably just like a Google Doc thing, and then they just type out the answers. Ray with the $9.99. Can we get you and Nick to co to produce an alternate Lakers playoff podcast? Just can't get into Locked On Lakers. I tossed that idea out to Nick to do just like an ex-Mav check-in segment on their shows during this point of the season where there's not a lot to talk about right now. Like an ex-Mav check-in where you can frame it as we're just checking in on ex-Mavs, but really you're following Luka a lot. You're following Luka, and I don't think he really wanted to do it. SGA has been horrible in the playoffs, and OKC is blowing the Grizzlies out. Yeah, because the OKC Thunder are fucking insane. Which team other than your own will win the title this season? Wow. Okay. Celtics overwhelming favorites here. That doesn't surprise me that much that the players would feel that way. Now let's see. NBA odds. Let's see like what the odds are looking like through 2 games. Where are we at with the finals favorites? Team futures champion. The Thunder are plus 155 to win the NBA finals right now. Celtics plus 190. So those two are pretty neck and neck. And then the Cavs are third plus 650. So no surprise that these three teams are the top. Then the Lakers, Nuggets, Warriors, Bucks. Bucks? All right, those are Bucks players. Timberwolves. The Grizzlies, in case you're wondering, have the lowest odds. Rockets. This is so interesting to me. Down 1-0 in the series, to be fair. But plus 1,400. Health is the most important question for the Celtics. I definitely think they are the favorites if they are healthy. Just don't know if that's going to be the case. You got to be you can't help but be a little bit concerned about the Jaylen Brown stuff, especially when we're talking about one getting through an Eastern Conference that it's going to be much more competitive this year than it was last year. That much is certain. Like you're probably going to get a Knicks team in round 2. Whereas last year, who did the Celtics play in round 2? Last year, you got to beat up to shit. A beat up to shit Bucks team in round 1, right? What am I misremembering? Or Heat team in round 1? Yeah, Cavs in game 2. Last year was a joke in the East. They got lucky. Oh yeah, and then Donovan Mitchell was hurt in that series. Yeah, that's right. It's all coming back together. The Celtics were dominant, and I think they would have won anyways, but they definitely had a much easier path to the finals than they will have this year. That much goes without being said. And then on top of that, look, I love my Mavs. The Thunder, if the Thunder do make it through, will be a much tougher opponent in the finals than the Mavs were for the Celtics last year. So Jaylen Brown being compromised is like make or break. Could be make or break for them. We'll see. All right, Luka Doncic, I'm sorry. We cannot compare Luka's defense to Kawhi at his peak. I'm sorry. That's insane to do. Like, this is where you start to lose people, man. I'm telling you guys, Luka stands, this is where you start to lose people when you start doing shit like this. It's where people start to fall off a little bit. Like, they got one defensive player of the years. He has great numbers in isolation. That's great. You're comparing Luka's defense to a guy who's won defensive player of the year and is one of the best perimeter wing defenders in the history of the sport. Okay? Let's be honest with ourselves. Just so let's be honest. Like we're doing a disservice to Luka. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to Luka to say those type of things. Voters who chose the Celtics, their team chemistry is great. They have a lot of superstars on that team, and they consistently know their roles. They kind of put their egos aside and just win games. I personally think Boston will pull it out because they've been there and they're more experienced, but I think Cleveland's going to give them a run for their money for sure. They look really good. Voter who chose the Warriors. The way they're playing with Jimmy is a new variable into the gameplay, and Jimmy's a good variable. Not only that, Steph and those guys have been battle tested before. Who did this? Is that Clay, you think? What about the guy who voted the Timberwolves? Can we hear from him or the Bucks? Can we hear from those guys? Those are the voters I'm interested in hearing their opinion about. Clay, yeah. Jimmy, 5 years from now, who will be the face of the league? Victor Wembanyama, overwhelming favorite. Anthony Edwards, Shea, Tatum, Doncic, Paolo, Cade, John Morant. Others receiving votes. Scotty Barnes, Matas Bazulis, Kevin Durant in 5 years. Who the fuck voted Kevin Durant to be face of the league in 5 years? There would have to be a massive war that broke out where there was a draft, a mandatory draft, where anybody from the ages of 18 to 35 had to go into the military. And you now have an NBA where it's only 35-plus-year-olds. That's the only way that Kevin Durant would be the face of the league in 5 years. And God bless him. Chet Holmgren, Zachary Reese-Shea, Shaedon Sharpe, Zion Williamson. Who voted for Shaedon Sharpe? I need to hear about who voted for Kevin Durant. That's the guy I want to hear from. But yeah, I wouldn't be face of the league in 5 years. Absolutely. I really hope the Spurs make the playoffs next year. I really, really, really hope the Spurs make the playoffs. But Ant, I think Ant's a little bit too much of a loose cannon. And you know what's funny about the Ant thing? Where it's like, you know, Ant doing the my dick's bigger than yours thing. If it came out that like Jordan said that to a fan, everyone would be like, oh my God. Hell yeah. He's so good. He's so nasty. He's like, that's the type of competitor that he is, right? But it's on camera. Ant does it. Everyone's like, ugh. Have you seen Ant's bulge? He's right. Okay. Moving on. Almost everyone seems to agree that San Antonio's Victor Wembanyama is the chosen one, but the health scare that ended his season in mid-February seemed to re-spark the discussion about who else might be in the running. So is there, okay, can someone doc in the chat, is the blood clot thing, I know that everyone automatically defaults to Chris Bosh and just how scary that whole thing was and literally career ender. But, I mean, if he recovers from this, should he just be fine moving forward? We're not looking at Anthony Edwards' bulge, guys. I mean, come on, guys. Can we fucking focus? We're not about to go look at Anthony Edwards' bulge. Like, come on. This is getting egregious in the chat. 90% of the time, yes. He should be fine. Okay. Who is the league's most overrated player? Poor Tyrese Halliburton. Rudy Gobert. Everyone hates Rudy Gobert. Trae Young, Jimmy Butler, Bradley Beal. I don't think too many people are overrating Bradley Beal. Draymond Green, Ja Morant, Julius Randle, Joel Embiid, Giannis. That's just hate. Dylan Brooks. Who's overrating Dylan Brooks? Paul George, Tyler Hero, Drew Holiday. Drew? Jaren Jackson Jr., LeBron, Kyle Kuzma. Who's overrated Kyle Kuzma? Sabonis. Get me in contact with that voter. Zion. No one who reached the NBA is overrated. How about that answer? I play sports with a 199. Like this comment for a slightly Luka channel. Ain't happening. Straight up haters. Absolutely. Other players who received votes: LaMelo, Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Jaylen Brown, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Josh Giddey, Jock Landale. Who the fuck voted Jock Landale most overrated? Dude, that Jock Landale, you have a hater. Somebody in the league hates your guts. You think Jock Landale looked at this and was like, what the hell? Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Chris Paul, Jason Tatum, and Franz Wagner. Poor Tyrese Halliburton. I do not think Tyrese Halliburton is one of the most overrated players in the league. And you want to know who I think actually is? Jaren Jackson Jr. would be my pick, honest to God. I've just really been on a Jaren Jackson Jr. hate trip lately. I'm not entirely sure why that's the case. Franz, maybe I've been guilty of overrating Franz a little bit. Do we have no comments on Tyrese Halliburton being overrated? I feel like this feels like a common sort of thing that I could see NBA players, especially guards, having. I don't understand the defensive player of the year stuff when you don't guard the people who have the ball most of the time. The ones who are making most of the decisions. A player who chose Gobert for most overrated said, I just don't see it, nor does he strike any fear in me in my heart as a defender. Well, that's Draymond Green. Okay. They just call a spade a spade. Draymond Green is the one who said that. Who is the league's most underrated player? Cade Cunningham. All-star, going to be an all-NBA guy this year. I don't know. Derek White. Yeah. Just sort of perpetually underrated. Norm Powell. Reeves. Drew. who got overrated votes. Jaren Jackson Jr., who got overrated votes. Jaren Jackson Jr. is not underrated. Lou Dort, Trey Murphy, not bad. Pritchard, Kaysen Wallace, yeah. Aaron Wiggins, yeah. Jalen Williams, yeah. J-Dub. Jared Allen, Denny Avdia, Jalen Brown, Tumani Kamara, Tyson Daniels, Jalen Green, Tyler Hero, Ty Jerome. Najee Marshall, all right. First Maverick mention. First Dallas Maverick we have seen mentioned here. How about that? Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Jason Tatum, Amin Thompson, and Franz Wagner. And then, I mean, everybody in the fucking league got a vote. I'm just gonna skim through some of these guys. Harrison Barnes got an underrated vote. Bull got an underrated vote. Thank you for voting, Bull. Thanks for voting. Wendell Carter Jr., Jalen Clark got a most underrated player. Literally looks like every single player in the league damn near got one. I'm trying to see if there's like a crazy one. Nikola Jovic, my most improved player pick this year, I think he was. Or maybe not, but I considered it. Jordan Miller. Okay. The Thompson twins. Trendon Watford. Brandon Williams got a vote. Somebody voted Brandon Williams. How about that? Who voted B. Will? I think, it might have been John Morant. Who is the league's best organization? Golden State Warriors win this award, with the Thunder coming in second. Boston Celtics third, Clippers fourth. This is telling. Heat culture. They find their way up here. Lakers, Spurs, Cavs, Bucks, Jazz, and surprisingly, getting multiple votes. The Mavs are here, tied with the Pacers, Grizzlies, Timberwolves, Magic, and Suns. Who the fuck voted the Suns? Hawks, Nets, Nuggets, Rockets, and Blazers also got a vote. So which teams didn't get a vote? Hornets, Wizards. Any like competitive teams not get a vote? I'm trying to think about teams that are in the playoffs right now that maybe didn't get a vote, and none are coming to my head. Nuggets only getting one vote is interesting. Rockets only getting one vote is interesting. So interesting that we're still getting the Mavs are still getting votes. As many votes as a Pacers team, as a Grizzlies team that's been pretty well ran, I would say, all things considered. No Pistons. Yeah, no Pistons. Yeah, wow. No Knicks. Are we missing that? Nobody voted the Knicks as the league's best organization. Interesting. That's surprising. Dolan, yeah, I guess. Well, also because when you walk up to the stadium, you guys have seen that. When you walk up to the stadium, you have to walk up half a mile of a fucking hill to get into the guard. So maybe that's it. I would love to hear somebody like it's all cool. Let's ask guys about the Thunder, guys. Ask guys about the Warriors. Ask about who voted for the Mavs. Ask about who voted for the Suns. That's the answer I want to hear. Who's the league's worst organization? Okay. Yeah, no 76ers on here as well. Yeah, I know they were terrible this year, but Hornets, number one by a lot. That's unfortunate for our Charlotte Hornets. Wizards, yeah. Pelicans, yeah. Kings, yeah. I'm surprised the Kings aren't higher on this list based off all the things we heard about them. Sixers, yeah. Then here comes the Mavs at 4.4%. Yeah. Bulls, Knicks on one of the league's worst organizations. So that's far and away the most competitive team we've seen so far. Grizzlies, Jazz, with others receiving votes. Pistons, Clippers, and Suns get a vote. Clippers, really? That's a little bit surprising to me. That someone would vote them as the worst. That's a hater. Like that's a full-fledged hater. And Paul George, probably. If I had to guess, probably Paul George. All right, so the Mavs, surprised they're not a little bit higher, but surprised they got votes for the best organization. Hornets being the worst doesn't surprise me. I mean, when will something good happen for my Charlotte Hornets, man? Come on, Cooper Flag, let's go. Wizards being that high doesn't surprise me, although it does feel like they're kind of turning a corner a little bit just in terms of their perception. I will say, based off of pure dysfunction and stuff that we've heard from behind the scenes stuff, the Mavs obviously are high up there. I think the Kings feel like they're the worst. And that's tough because they actually have expectations. So the teams that have expectations that flame out will always end up feeling worse than a team like the Hornets who have nothing going for them whatsoever. I think the Hornets probably deserve to be last here. But I think I'd have the Kings pretty fucking high. How are the Nuggets and Bucks not on there? No votes for the Nuggets as the best organization. No votes for them as the worst. So they're just the most mid. I want to see, what are people saying about Charlotte? Not a lot of quotes. You don't really know. You could be a losing program, but still be a great organization. Some players declined to answer this question because they said they don't have enough reliable information to make an informed judgment. Oh. Another said, I feel like until you're there and you go through it, you don't really know what's considered a bad organization. That's very insightful and fair. Aside from your own current coach, who is the best coach in the league? Dagnall, by far, number one. Atkinson, Spoelstra, Mazzulla. It looks like every coach in the league got votes here. Ty Lue, Steve Kerr, Pop. Ime Udoka, not that high up. I think opposing players probably hate Ime Udoka. Bickerstaff, JJ Redick, Michael Malone. Chauncey Billups, Taylor Jenkins. Others receiving votes. Adam Kapoor, Wizards assistant coach. Rick Carlisle, Chris Finch, Will Hardy. Oh, look, there he is. Kid got a vote. Kid got one vote. Interestingly enough, low on this list, Jamal Mosley, why do they consider a great coach? Tom Thibodeau only got one vote. But Dagnall being far and away number one here is not that surprising, really. He's getting them all to buy in and have fun playing together. One player said of Dagnall, who tied for 7th place in last year's poll and has led the Thunder to the West top seed in 2 years in a row. They enjoy the game. They have fun with each other. They play for each other. It's like a group effort, and I think it starts with a coach on down when you see something like that. Aside from your own current coach, oh, man. Aside from your own, this is fucked up. So only 73 votes here. So half of the pollers did not feel interested in answering this question. Aside from your own current coach, who's the worst coach in the league? Please don't have Jason Kidd on here. Brian Keefe is number one. That's sad. Mike Budenholzer is number two, comfortably. Then Doc Rivers. They're done with the dinosaurs. Charles Lee, which is surprising because I think I've heard all of the stuff I have heard from Hornets this year is that they do like Charles Lee. Nick Nurse, I think infamously not a player-friendly coach. Tom Thibodeau, same thing. Darko, Doug Christie. Jordy Fernandez is a little bit surprising. Michael Malone, who voted them? They saw the future. Chauncey Billups, Rick Carlisle, worst coach in the league. That's Luka. Luka sent that one in. Chris Finch, Will Hardy, Steve Kerr, and Ty Lue. Who's voting Ty Lue as the worst coach in the league? As one player say, coaches can be handicapped by health and front office. Nick Nurse is a good coach, but he doesn't have the players right now. It's worth noting that a majority of the players who polled declined to answer this question. One of them said, I'm not answering because I think the coaches are really good now. You could pick one of the bottom feeders like redacted coach from a bad team, but I've had him as a coach, and he's good, and it's not his fault. Yeah. Literally half of the guys didn't vote for that one. Which player in the league would you least like to fight? James Johnson is the overwhelming. And James Johnson does MMA stuff, doesn't he? So James Johnson, far and away, the leader here. How about that? Killer Kid, no votes for worst coach in the NBA. That makes me happy. James Johnson stuns UFC fans with undefeated MMA and kickboxing record. 20-0 in kickboxing, 7-0 in the MMA. Good for James Johnson. Wait, is he like a professional MMA fighter? Is he professional MMA? Is this him? It says he's 1-5 here, but this might not be him. 2009. There's no way that's him, right? It's a different James Johnson. Isaiah Stewart, yeah. Steven Adams, yeah. Lou Dort, Jalen Duren, Brooke Lopez, Zion. Who else received votes? Goga, Steph Curry. Who? Excuse my language here. What pussy voted Steph Curry, man? You're in the NBA. You're like 6'7". Draymond, Javonte Green, and LeBron. I feel like Draymond should be higher because I feel like he could tap into this. Like, my brain turned off when I accidentally killed somebody on the basketball court level. James Johnson just, knows fighting. So, Adam Silver would send snipers if someone fought Curry. That's interesting. That's a good point. Continues to strike fear. In this 3-point revolution age, are analytics good or bad for the game, and why? So 38% said bad, 33% said somewhere in the middle, only 28% said good. Let's see what players have to say about this. Players who say analytics have been bad for the game. The game is art. It's like telling a painter you have to include the numbers with your imagination. It hurts your creativity. This is art. It's painting on a canvas. You might tell somebody the 3-point shot and the layup is the best shot in the game, but sometimes the best shot in the game is the in-between shot, in my opinion. It's not white or black. I think creativity is about gray areas. That's what creativity is. Well, I think the idea behind analytics is we're not necessarily taking any shots out of the game. If you're good enough at a shot, take it. We're taking the bad shots out of the game. That does sound like that's KD. Kyrie, that's true. That's true. Kyrie can yap a little bit, and that does kind of sound like something Kyrie would say. Now it's doing more harm than good. Now it's determining too much. Nobody's watching the game anymore. They're just looking at stats and determining if a player is good or not. So this guy's approaching it not from the lens of like analytics has changed the way that we've played, but analytics has changed the way people have talked about the game in a negative way. It's an interesting way to look at it. Some of us were middle guys in college, and you get out here and they tell you not to shoot those. So now you've got to change your whole game up. Well, yeah, because you probably suck at them. Let's say you say they've had a positive impact. It helps you figure out where a player is good or not good. Helps you push a player to where he's weak. It's a player's job to get better or not get better. That's true. I think it only enhances the guys. I think it's just figuring out more efficient ways to score the basketball. At the end of the day, nobody complains about guys scoring too much in this league. Well, I don't know. That guy's obviously not on Twitter. So that might be James Harden. Infamously not online, if we remember the Gator problem during the pandemic where he had the Punisher Blue Lives Matter Gator. And Young Thug had to take to his defense online and say that he's not online to take it easy on him. I think analytics are good in the game because, look, everyone says they don't want to watch a bunch of 3-pointers, and that's fair. But at the same time, I really don't think anyone wants to watch a bunch of like inefficient mid-range post-ups and high post touches. But I do sort of feel like it had a negative impact on maybe the way that they talk about the game. Do you like Adam Silver's idea of changing it to 10-minute quarters? Everyone says no. I forgot that Adam Silver even said that. Everybody said no. Fuck no was one of the responses. What about the yes? Less stress on my body, man. And maybe it prolongs my career. That's Zion. I think it because it makes games shorter, keeps fans engaged. I'd be for that. I think it'll allow us to play a better brand of basketball for longer. And along with some other tweaks, would allow our game to look more appealing to the eye of the casual viewer. The thing is if you cut out 8 minutes of a game, you already kind of have this talent problem in the league where there's maybe too much talent. Like, you would desperately need expansion at that point. With the league allowing more physicality on the defensive end in the last 2 seasons, is there enough balance in today's game, or is it still too slanted towards offense? Still too slanted towards offense. Overwhelming favorite. It's balanced. It's getting better. It's inconsistent, undecided. And then one person voted the regular season is too slanted toward offense, and the playoffs are too slanted towards defense. That's James Harden. James Harden voted that one. Are the NBA's gambling partners good or bad for the league, and why? So if I were a player, I would understand why I would say bad, and almost half of them said bad. If I were a player, I would say bad only because I probably get the most annoying DMs of all time, tweets about fucking up a parlay or whatever the case may be. And my response will always be, you are a degenerate. Stop blaming me. Look in the mirror and call a hotline immediately for the sake of you and your family's well-being, right? As a fan, I would definitely say bad. But also as a player, man, you're going to be making life-altering money. Like, you are entering a new level of wealth that athletes have never entered into. We're probably not that far away from top-end guys getting contracts that look like $500 million. We're really not that far away from guys, and I think LeBron's already done it, but like we're probably a couple decades away from guys retiring, making billions, or maybe just $1 billion in their career. And a lot of that's because the money these companies pay. So because of that, you gotta think about it like that. Would you be in favor of shortening the regular season if it meant your salary would be smaller? Everyone said no. I still got to play 60-something games and get paid less? Hell no. No way. Let's keep it 82 games. If you're not ready for it, that's on you. You have to prepare your body. The league's 82 games plus playoffs. That's what separates us. That's LeBron. I wish we played 10 plus games, but I'm trying to make as much money as I can. I can't even lie to you. And that's it. That's the article. A lot of people watch basketball only for gambling. Yeah, and that's the way to look at it as well. Mikal Bridges. Yeah, that's Mikal Bridges as well. Interesting. I always love reading these articles. We're not looking at Anthony. You guys are in rare form today. We're not looking at Anthony Edwards' bulge, guys. I mean, come on, guys. Can we fucking focus? We're not about to go look at Anthony Edwards' bulge. Like, come on. This is getting egregious in the chat. What is wrong with you guys, man? Seriously, rare form today.